everyone, my name is Kim Carmona. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I'm excited to be here. I am the International Graduate Student Recruiter, and we'll go ahead and get started with today's presentation, talking all things language-based exam requirements. So let's get started. So you are in the California State University of Bakersfield, of course, Graduate Studies Summit. Welcome, the International Graduate Students presentation for our language-based exams. All right, so typically the main question that we get is how to apply. How can I apply as an international student? So this here has our international application guide, which will take you to our international application guide, which has information regarding how to apply as an international student, all things you need to know applying as an international student to the CSU system and to CSUB. So this here will kind of just show some steps in regards to the application process when you are ready to apply through CalState Apply. So CalState Apply is essentially the home of where the application process is housed. So that's where you'll go to complete the application, pay the application fee, and essentially submit your graduate student application there. And then good news, today is October 1st. So today is actually the first day in which the application has opened. So starting today, you can apply to to your graduate program of interest. So that's very exciting. Further along, I'll go ahead and share some application dates and deadlines for you to keep in mind. But okay, next steps is our international student requirements. So as an international student, there are additional application requirements that you will want to keep in mind. So not only will you be applying through CalState Apply and doing the online application, then you might also have graduate specific application requirements that your graduate program might request of you and be required for you to submit specifically to the graduate program. As an international student, you also have international student requirements. So that would require you to also submit additional documents to our international student office. The first one being bachelor's degree from an accredited university. So we will have to see your bachelor's degree along with official transcripts from that degree. Then we do have this WES here because most students do use this service as we would require your official transcripts or to be evaluated. We would need a course-by-course evaluation, and students generally go through WES to have that completed. So that is the service that students typically use. Following that, the GPA requirements for all undergrad coursework is at least a minimum of a 2.5, 0.7 for all 2.5 on all undergrad coursework. However, if you are applying for our MBA program, so Master's of Business Administration program, then that is a minimum of a 2.75. All right, next we would require you to fill out some forms and to provide us with additional information, such as the affidavit of financial support. So we need to know essentially how will you be funding your grad program or you're a graduate student at CSUB, how will you be funding your program, whether that's being self-funded, family funded, a government sponsorship. We will need to have this affidavit form completed along with proof of financial certification, such as a bank statement. Along with that, we do require health insurance. Sometimes international students, a common question is they do have health insurance in their own home country. And is health insurance required with CSUB? And yes, the answer is yes. We do require health insurance to be purchased with CSUB. So that will be an additional requirement during the application process. All right, as I mentioned, a bank statement is a document that we would need to verify your financial certification for the program in which you are applying. So the minimum would be at least $30,578 USD. However, if you are applying for our MBA program, then the minimum there would be $33,818. So there is quite a difference, if you notice, between steps 2 and 4. The MBA program does require a little bit more funding, as well as a higher minimum GPA. Okay. And then moving along, we have our language proficiency. So these are the English based exams that we would require for international students to submit. Now, you wouldn't have to submit all 4, at least one, but these are the 4 different options that students are able to choose from when submitting these language-based exams. So we accept the TOEFL, the IELTS, the Duolingo, and PTE. And then number 6 is a passport. Of course, we will need a copy of a valid passport. And we understand that sometimes students are in the process of renewing a passport, or maybe it's expired, but definitely by the time you enter the U.S., we will need a valid passport, preferably during the application. But if not, we would still accept an unexpired passport, but of course, communicate with us in terms of what your situation is so that we know that you are in the process of a renewal. But that passport should be valid prior to coming to the U.S. And then right here in the right-hand bottom corner, you'll see possible additional requirements because, as I mentioned, you might need to submit additional documents to your graduate program. So you will have to keep in mind of potentially submitting a statement of purpose, a resume, letters of recommendation. Typically, on average, it's about 3 letters of rec, a GRE or a GMAT. It really just depends on the program in which you are applying for and their requirements. So I do strongly encourage to look at the webpage for the program in which you are applying for, visit their website, get in contact with the program department to find out what is required, what it is, or what is everything that you need to submit to ensure that you have all the requirements submitted by the deadline. All right, and then moving on to our English proficiency test, I just wanted to cover this once more since we are in the language-based session here for international students. But essentially, the TOEFL, we will require a score of 79 IVT required or request, and then you can request your scores to be sent with this code 4110 to acknowledge CSUB. And then the IELTS, a minimum score of a 6.5 is required. The Duolingo English test is a minimum score of 105. And then the Pearson test examination, also known as PTE, is a minimum score of 58. So these are the 4 different English proficiency tests that our international students can choose when applying for our graduate programs or even undergraduate program. All right, so we have our CalState Apply application dates. So these are kind of a general dates. So the fall, as I mentioned, open today, October 1st. And if you are interested in coming back to earn a second bachelor's, then typically the deadline is November 30th. But we know that there is a lot of delays in applying for like the visas, and our international students sometimes do need additional time to submit certain documents, of course, being overseas and the additional requirements that are required of you. So these deadlines aren't concrete here, with the spring dates being August 1st through August 31st. I'll go ahead and show, or I'll wait to the end to show all the deadlines that I wanted to show, but these are just general deadlines that you will find for the spring and fall semester. I apologize, I didn't realize it would take me back. All right, so what happens once all your documents are submitted? So we'll go through the enrollment process. The phase one is a department review. So along with the graduate program in which you're applying and submitting your graduate program requirements alongside the International Student Office. So as I mentioned, you would have to submit documents to the International Student Office. And we will go ahead and acknowledge your application documents, let you know if everything is good to go or if we are missing anything. And then the same with the department. The department would be in contact with you in regards to your application. So that's where phase two comes along with the admission decision. And generally, the time frame is about 3 to 4 weeks, more or less, of a time frame response. All right. And then I did want to touch on the non-resident fee waiver. So this is something that is eligible for our international students. And these are the nomination guidelines if you are interested. Now, this is different than an application fee waiver. So unfortunately, we do not offer application fee waivers for our international students. However, this non-resident fee waiver is something that international students are eligible for as long as you are pursuing a full course of study and maintaining a valid F1 status. You have to be nominated by an appropriate graduate program and acknowledged by the school dean. Number 3, nomination evidence. So you would have to provide students' financial need, exceptional scholastic ability, prior scholastic achievement, and copy of your admission letter from the graduate program. Number 4, must be enrolled in at least 10 semester units each term or be employed by the CSU for 20 hours or more a week. And number 5, semesters and standings. Fee waiver are only applied to fall and spring semester. Must maintain good academic standing and at least a 3.0 GPA each term. Classification: recipients must be designated as a classified graduate student or conditionally classified graduate student in a master's or doctoral degree program. However, from my understanding, graduate students must be, they can't have like any conditional admission because when you are applying for a visa, they do need to see that you are fully accepted into the university. All right. And then our office contact information. So once you are ready to submit those application documents or if you have any questions, you will have to email. You can contact us at the international admission at csub.edu or by telephone 661-654-6113. So these are all the staff members available at the International Students and Programs Office. We have Gabriela Ochoa. She's our International Students and Program Advisor. She does specifically work mainly so with students in our BPA school. So any of those master's programs that fall under the BPA, she would essentially be the advisor that you see for assistance in your academic studies. Veronica, who is our Director of Enrollment and Special Populations. Carmen, our Special Populations and Grad Admissions Program Services Coordinator. Sonia, our International Students and Programs Advisor. Andrew Dickinson, a Special Populations Athletic and International Admissions Coordinator. And then myself, Kimberly Carmona, the International Graduate Student Recruiter. All right, but this is our last slide. This is our social media. So please stay in touch with us. You can find announcements, events, deadlines, resources, and these are just some previous posts that have been shared through our social media webpage. Okay, this is the page that I wanted to show you with more concrete deadlines for our graduate programs. So all of the programs listed here on the left, you'll find the program deadline to the right there. And again, we understand as being international students, sometimes the deadline may not necessarily apply. So definitely contact us. We'll work with you in terms of making sure that we can get your application submitted by the deadline. But if not, we'll work with you to see what we can do to ensure that your application is submitted. As we do know that there are long wait times for applying for the visa. Yeah, that's the presentation for today.